Good. What sticks with you the most? Just thinking about what happened on Saturday with the
Well,
offense.
a little bit, twofold. One, really happy again with how we started both halves. Really happy with the opportunity to go score 4 out of the first 6 times we had the football. But in this league, and really any time that it's going to possibly be a higher scoring game, field goals don't generally win you games. We needed to score touchdowns in the red zone, and that gives us 8 more points if we score 2 touchdowns rather than 2 field goals on 2 of the first 4 scores. And touchdowns is what we're going to keep preaching, and we've done a nice job scoring in the red zone, but again, we'd rather have a touchdown than a field goal.
How tough is it making it on you as a play caller when the running game just isn't getting going as well as it had been earlier?
I feel like we've still tried to stay true to we've got to make them defend it, and we've done a nice job of keeping the ball and winning the time of possession. But it does make it harder to get some of your play action shots and that type of stuff if you don't feel like you're forcing the safeties to come be run fit guys.
Is Tech's defense like anybody's you've seen so far this year, or what are they like in general?
They'll probably play a little bit more what I would call a 3-3 stack, where they've got their 3 linebackers stacked right over top of the D linemen. Number 6 and number 1 are both big, thick dudes that really run well. And then their D line in general are thicker, stronger dudes that can run. We've got to force them, though, to have 7, 8, 9 guys in the run game, not just those 6. They do play quite a bit of odd front, which is the 3-down stuff, but they'll also get into some 4-down if we're in 12 or 22 personnel.
Texas Tech has given up 62 plays at 20-plus yards this season, which is second most in the FBS. Does that entice you guys to maybe throw the ball a little bit more?
Yes, but we also got to make sure we try to, which we always will, establish the run first. That being said, first play of the game last week, you throw the ball down the field for a big score, and so we've got to come out and be aggressive. But I think we still got to try to hang our hat on who we want to be, and that's run the ball and then still take some shots.
In a general sense, would you ever go into a game thinking, I want to throw on passing downs, run on running downs, and then see how it plays out, or do you wait till the game starts to decide that?
There's definitely times where you definitely say, I know they're going to do this, so we have to quote mix it up on them. But then as the game rolls, you look last week a little bit at TCU, and you say, even when they pretty well knew they were going to run the ball, they had opportunities and they still ran the ball. And that's what we've got to be able to do, is not maybe force your will upon them, but yet still be able to say, you have to keep loading the box to stop us from running the ball. And now, that being said, when they do that, we've got to make big plays. We've got to get more. They've given up a lot, but we haven't gotten the number that we need to get, and we need to make some more big plays.
James seemed rather optimistic about playing this weekend on Tuesday. Has he been involved in practice this week?
Yeah, he has, and to be honest with you, he's obviously every week been trying to get himself in a position to play, and I feel like he's closer right now than he was the last 2 weeks, definitely. So I anticipate him playing and being more full speed.
How much has attrition reduced your margin for error this season?
Well, I think it always comes down to, as you grind out the season, and unfortunately our bye weeks were so early, when now you're 7 games in a row, and obviously we've got 2 more in that 7, you start having where depth becomes a big key to being successful, is that next guy up being able to still execute at the level that you need to.
You just brought up how good you're feeling about James compared to previous weeks. Is that the same you feel about Jordan?
Jordan, both those guys this week I feel like have been much closer when Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday practices have gone than they have been the previous 2 or 3 weeks.
How scary was the hit on Skylar just when it happened and just like not knowing how long he might be out? I know he came back one play later.
Yeah, I mean, as it was going on and it happened, I didn't know if it would be a concussion type deal or a shoulder type deal, just because as he was going down and where the hit was coming from, you're never real sure. The one good thing about him is as soon as he got back over to the sideline, right away the coach was talking to him. We're like, no, coach, he'll be all right. He's ready to go. Now, if it were to be that he's not, we had great confidence that Nick would go in and run the show. And the first play actually when Nick was in, it was like 11-yard gain. And I think the O-line in that setting are saying, that's all right. We want our guy back there, but somebody else got to kind of pick up the mantle and play. So I think we'd have been fine.
How close did you feel like that last interception he threw was to being the go-ahead touchdown?
It was definitely where I felt like as Dalton was taking off from his little stop and go, there was space being created. You know, you still got to throw a really, really good ball in those settings because obviously their DB, it was a DB, more of a corner type guy rather than a linebacker. His ability to retrace and go attack the ball, he did a nice job making a play. You know, obviously when it's in the air, you're feeling like, hey, we got a fighting chance, and I'm all in for giving Dalton 50-50 balls and letting him go make a play because he's done a great job his whole career here doing those things.
You hear stories about backups in the NFL at quarterback getting literally 0 reps during a week. How much work does a guy like Jaron or Nick get during a week?
You know, obviously Skylar gets most of the reps, but those guys are probably going to get 40% of the reps. Now, sometimes those are split between each other. So, you know, if in a general time we're going, it changes a little bit depending on if it's in red zone or third down and what looks we feel like Skylar needs to get. But those guys are getting enough that I think they definitely know the scheme and know why we're trying to run what we're running in those situations.
You know, senior day is coming up. I'm kind of doing a story on Dalton Schoen and just his value to this program. In the limited time that you've been able to know him, how has he contributed the most?
Well, I think the thing that he has done the best job is when whatever it is has come towards him, he's attacked it. You know, again, you go back to, there was about 4 weeks in a row where he had at least one reception that you would have said, boy, that's at best a 50-50, and he was 4 weeks in a row making the play. And I think he does a good job of knowing, hey, when my opportunity comes, take full advantage of it, and he's done a great job in our short time with him.
Is it amazing to think that he was a walk-on that could not get any playing time at one point?
You know, would have never guessed that. Just because of how he goes about his business, though, it shows that you know, he's put himself in a position to be successful. Because he's a guy that, you know, every night after practice, he's out there. He's still one of the last guys coming off that practice field. And I'm sure part of it is the practice numbers are waning now and dwindling down. And I'm sure that it will finally hit him some point where he says, hey, I'm not going back out on the field to practice each day. And that'll be a change for him because at some point, you know, 4 or 5 years into it, that final day comes. But he's been tremendous for us.
Anything else?
You anticipate having Joaquin
Yes.
back this Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah.
What has Landry done to kind of earn a bigger role in the offense recently?
Well, it's you know, he's done a phenomenal job all year long on special teams. So I think everybody trusts him, and that's a big deal. Is when your quarterback trusts you. You know, as an example, in the second drive, he had a huge catch last week, and that's just straight quarterback saying the guy's maybe not open, but I believe him. I believe in him. If I give him a ball that he's got a chance to make a play on, he's going to make that play, and he's done those things. So.